Hey, what's going on, friends and theme park fans? This is Stix here for another Stix Top 6, where I count down the best and worst that theme parks have to offer. Today's episode is one I'm very excited for. We're going to be counting down the top 6 best animatronics you can find throughout all of Universal, and this includes Islands of Adventure and classic Universal Studios. Animatronic creatures and characters are certainly more scarce than you'd find in somewhere like the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, but in my honest opinion, that makes the animatronics at the Universal parks have an extra special level of magic to them for being so few and far between. And of course, that and my whole list are all just opinions, so if you disagree or feel that I left anything off the list that you feel deserved a spot, please let me know in the comments below. And without further ado, let's get into the countdown. Number 6. Imhotep. So if you saw my top 6 best rides at Universal Studios video, you'll know my favorite ride in the entire park is Revenge of the Mummy. And one of the biggest highlights of the ride is the ancient mummy himself, Imhotep, who pops out of his sarcophagus early on in the ride to greet the guests and suck the soul out of a cast member in the ride's story. This animatronic is extremely lifelike, standing at 6 feet 8 inches tall and weighing in at 680 pounds, and inside his build is 1,000 feet of hydraulic tubing, giving him range to around 80 separate motions, which would allow him to move exceptionally fluently. However, Universal intentionally tweaked the animatronic to be slightly more robotic so guests wouldn't mistake it for a human actor. Frankly, I'd love to see the full 80 movements in action and see what potential Imhotep even still has in store today. But until then, it's still one of the most impressive animatronics at the park. Number 5. Buckbeak. Moving over to Islands of Adventure in Hogsmeade, you'll find a small minute and 6-second junior coaster which just so happens to have some of the best theming in the entire park. This ride just so happens to be Flight of the Hippogriff, where you take flight over top the wizarding world of Harry Potter and get a close-up of Hagrid's hut. But more importantly than anything, you'll learn to bow properly to an incredible hippogriff animatronic. This specific hippogriff is Buckbeak from the Harry Potter movies, and the movements on his head and eyes are so insanely realistic it looks like you could really fly away on him. I guess at least we get to ride in the cart shaped like a hippogriff. That's a pretty fair trade-off if you ask me. Number 4. The T-Rex. Aboard the Jurassic Park River Adventure, you'll come across many different animatronics ranging from a Stegosaurus to an Ultrasaurus to Velociraptors to the almighty T-Rex, who easily takes the number 4 spot on our list with an insanely impressive size of roughly 20 feet tall and 40 feet long, with a weight of around 13,000 pounds. This enormous and impressive dino meets you right at the end of the attraction and lunges forward at you, roaring at the top of his lungs and snapping his jaw only inches from the riders and ride vehicle, while you face your 85-foot drop into the water below. Needless to say, the combination of a 51-degree plunge into darkness with this terrifying beast right in your face makes Jurassic Park River Adventure one of the most thrilling attractions in the park, with one of the most thrilling animatronics as well. Number 3. Bogrod and the Bank Tellers. Moving back over to Universal Studios and back into the wizarding world of Harry Potter in Diagon Alley, we'll find the ride Escape from Gringotts, which allows you to travel through the actual Gringotts Wizarding Bank as the queue, where inside you'll find Bogrod and the other fellow bank teller goblins around him. Each of these animatronics are extremely realistic as they write on their documents at their desks and look all around and make facial expressions as Bogrod talks to the guests and instructs them where to walk in order to get security access into the bank. It's a truly immersive experience, and that's not even including the ride or any of the other secrets and Easter eggs hidden in this queue. However, Bogrod and his gobbling crew definitely get you right in the Harry Potter mood and mindset before hopping on this awesome attraction. Number 2. The Cat in the Hat and Thing 1 and Thing 2. So I'm sure someone out there will consider this as cheating, but how could I resist mentioning one of the quintessential dark rides at Islands of Adventure, and one of my favorite rides in any theme park? This ride has been described as a Tilt-A-Whirl meets Disney's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, so you could assume there's a ton of fun colors and even more fun animatronics, and believe me, there is. Through this 5-minute insanely detailed whimsical dark ride, you'll find all your favorite scenes from the classic Dr. Seuss novel recreated through audio animatronics. For instance, Thing 1 and Thing 2 dropping a piano down the stairs, or what about the cat trying to perform a balancing act? Or even the fish, anxious to be caught by the children's mother talking to guests from his bowl. Seeing all of it play out in person is truly a one-of-a-kind experience. These animatronics genuinely feel so real in person, and I'd love to get the chance to get up and close with them. They don't have the widest array of motions they go through, and they're not insanely lifelike, but while you're transported into this Dr. Seuss world, they really do fit in wonderfully and help to immerse you perfectly into this wacky wonderland and tell the story of the Cat in the Hat perfectly. And I guarantee you won't want to miss out on them anytime you're visiting the park. Honorable mention: the Shamaness. One of the earliest rooms inside the queue over at Skull Island, Reign of Kong, and Islands of Adventure houses one of Universal's most impressive realistic animatronics to date, and surprisingly it's just to immerse guests and greet them during their walk to the ride. This character is the Shamaness, or Witch Doctor, who guests see performing an ancient ritual and warning guests of the unsafe land they're disturbing. The Shamaness sits inside a skull carving in the wall which has flames burning up from its eyes, bringing even more attention and realism to the animatronic. The wide array of motions and quotes this character can portray make it one of the absolute can't-miss animatronics at the park. Number 1. King Kong. And actually staying at Islands of Adventure and Skull Island, Reign of Kong for number 1, how could anyone expect a Best Animatronics of Universal list without mentioning the without a doubt best one at the park? Sitting at 30 feet tall and weighing in at over 7 tons, this unbelievably realistic audio animatronic meets guests at the end of the ride, looking them over and being generally stable, unlike the original Kongfrontation where he shakes your tram. He's mainly just an impressive spectacle, and in my opinion makes going on the ride completely worth it just for the chance to sit a few feet away from this absolutely insane work of art. After a ride filled with 360 3D screens and nearly no practical effects whatsoever, seeing this enormous ape truly changes the experience, bringing back nostalgia from Kongfrontation, and simply being an amazing sight, especially in person. It is seriously unlike anything you've ever seen before, and that's why it easily takes the final spot at number 1. Alrighty folks, that's going to wrap up my Stix Top 6 Best Animatronics at Universal Orlando, Florida. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and share the video around. It means a lot. And leave in the comments your favorite or least favorite animatronics in Universal, or just any fun stories you may have about the park. And anyway, until next time, this is Silver Stix signing out. I hope you have a great rest of your day, theme park fans. Peace.